And I asked him to take the roof off the ceiling today. Okay, so here we go. And I consider Shadrach family. I know that if I needed him, he would be there for me. And I hope he knows that if he ever needs me, I will be there for him. I'm thinking about all of you today, and I'm grateful you're all here. I love you.
All right, let's give it up for Julie. All right, so yeah, as she said, my mom came out last week and spoke to you all, and I'm here today. St. Vincent de Paul, Cass, has a special place in my heart. As a young child, I benefited from this. My family was evicted. We were homeless. We used to live on 43rd Avenue in Camelback, and we used to wash our clothes at the laundromat on 15th Avenue in Camelback, and fold clothes in the back of our car. And my uncle, who's now passed, used to bring us down here to get food, and that food was life-changing for us. But you guys are in the best place ever. You guys get a fresh start. And I can remember as a child thinking, is this it for me? Is this it? Is homelessness the bottom? Is that all I get to experience and my life hasn't started yet? No, absolutely, I heard that in the back. No, this isn't your defining factor that says this is it. I want you to rethink that. Don't sit there and tell yourself this is it. People may look down on you on a day-to-day basis, walk over you, pass by, don't say hi, don't shake your hand, don't do anything for you. That's okay. Let that person go. Forgive them and keep moving. It happened to me. It happens to you guys. I stood right there next to our wonderful cameraman, and I welcomed tons and tons of people coming by. I'm still welcoming each and every one of you guys coming in here to receive a meal. I've been there before. My favorite scripture in the Bible is Matthew 25, verse 37 through 40, where he says, if you've done this to the least of my people, you've also done it to me. And let me tell you, I know what it's like to be at the bottom. My redemption story was when my grandmother was on her deathbed. She knew that I was the black sheep of my family. And I had a huge, huge hate for school. I wanted to be out of school so bad. I graduated early, and I was like, I'm done. And I would come home while she was dying in the room next to my room, and she called me by name. She said, Shadrach, come here. And I was like, oh man, what does this old lady want? And I walked in there, and she was, promise me something. And I said, yeah, Grandma, what is it? She just promised me you'll get an education. I said, yeah, okay. And I walked out. And as I was walking out of her room, I hit the doorway. And she said, now you promised me and God's watching. And as a 17-year-old kid, I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't know that she would die 2 days later. I didn't know that. Well, I joined the military during my college days. I was playing football. I had committed to San Diego State University. And I thought, there's something more out there for me. What is it? So I left, went to my coach's office, talked to my coach, told my coach, I was like, this isn't it, man. I don't think this is for me. My brother's in Iraq right now with the Marine Corps. I think I'm gonna leave and join the military. He said, okay, if that's your decision, go do that. I left, went and signed up for the military. My wife was at work. She was working at Clear Channel. She's working at Clear Channel right there off of 44th Street in Van Buren. I went and signed up for the military. My wife had no idea. She came home and I threw the papers on the table. And she goes, what is this? I said, I leave in 1 week. She goes, to where? I said, to the military. Service. Service is what's been part of my life. Service was that thing that brought me from the bottom up to the top. I joined the military. I met a lot of people. I was just telling our wonderful cameraman, I just buried my friend last month, April 26th. Buried him up in Prescott. Lost his life to addiction. He was fighting demons. That's the 7th person that I've known to lose their life to drugs or alcohol. I see what that can do to families. I watched his mom and his siblings torn apart, having millions of questions of why. He was young. He wasn't even older than 27 years old. He was young. He was super young. He lost his life fighting addiction. My one buddy, I talked to him and I went to bed, and I was laying in bed and something told me get up and go to his house. I looked at the clock next to the bed. It says 1:30 in the morning. I'm not going to his house. This is ridiculous. I woke my wife up. I said, hey babe, should I go over to Kaser's house? She said, no, it's late. You can talk to him in the morning. Little did I know, 40 minutes after talking to Kaser, he killed himself in front of his wife and daughter. Service. If I had been there for Kaser and talked to him, or just got out of bed and drove to his house, maybe he'd be alive today. I don't know. I felt very lonely at that point. Alcohol and drugs. Yeah, it helps you cope. Helped me cope with a lot of problems. But that wasn't the answer. My grandmother's voice kept ringing in the back of my head. Promise me you'll get an education. I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I went to GCU. They have a flag right there. Went to Grand Canyon University. Finished up my degree in criminal law. Then returned back a year and a half later and got my master's in international foreign policy. I helped a gentleman named Walter Blackman run for state office. I was his chief of staff for a long time. Helped him win his first campaign, his second campaign. Then, while working for Walter Blackman, I was also running operations for a self-driving company. I'm saying all this to say this, is that just because you're homeless and it doesn't look bright for tomorrow or today, doesn't mean that you don't have a future. My future turned around because I stuck to my promise, right? I had told my grandmother on her deathbed that I'd get an education. When I fulfilled that promise to her, the doors just started opening left and right. And I was like, what is this? Who's looking out for me? I went to her grave back in 2018. I went to her grave back in 2018. And I told her, I said, Grandma, look, I made it. But let me tell you, it would have meant a million more feelings would have meant the world to me if she could have just seen me go to college while she was alive. But let me tell you something that was really cool. I haven't heard this in a long, long time. It was probably since I was like 12 or 13. She used to call me Boo. It was her nickname for me. She used to call me Boo. Actually, it was Boo-Noo. And I'm walking back to my car. I left her grave. I had spent like 30, 40 minutes there. And I'm walking back to my car, and out of nowhere, I hear the word boo, loud as day. And I turn back, and the balloons in the windmill are just spinning on her grave. It was almost like a sign of, I'm proud of you moment. And let me tell you, from that day to this day, I continue to serve, I continue to help people. I work for a company now called Feed My Starving Children. We help out millions of kids around the world. Those kids don't know where their future is, they don't know what their tomorrow holds, but I've been that child. I love that so much that I get to change the life of children who are less fortunate. I'm grateful for each and every one of you guys that are here today, standing in line, sitting down already eating, or receiving your food. That your future is brighter today as it is tomorrow. If I had to leave one message with you guys, don't give up. If you promise somebody something, hold to that promise. Don't give up. God does his best work when you're in your lowest and darkest places. I can testify that. I've been to the darkest spot. I've been here at Cass and St. Vincent de Paul receiving food. I've been in broken homes. This is where God's getting ready to prove his miracle to you, that he still lives, that he's gonna work a miracle out for you guys, and that anything is possible. My last message to you is that I lived in the Dominican Republic for 2 years in a place called Cienfuegos, 100 fires. It was a garbage dump, literally a garbage dump. Trash piled up high. They would burn the garbage at night, and at nighttime it looked like the world was ending. Fires just going everywhere. And I remember talking to a Dominican saying, "What's your dream?" He said, "To switch spots with you." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because you have opportunity. You live in America. I don't have that opportunity. If opportunity was sitting on the table, we'd take the table, the chairs, the ground, the dirt, and the roots that it was sitting on because we want it that bad." He said, "You don't want it. I want it." And that stuck with me for many, many years until this day. That was 20 years ago when I was a little bit younger. But take the opportunity that you have. You guys are right here in the United States to where you guys have many, many opportunities. Just because it's the darkest hour right now, there's still a miracle out there with your name on it. You guys should still grab that miracle and hold on to it. I know this to be true. I've seen it work in my life and many other people's lives. Guys, don't give up on yourselves. Don't let other people tell you you're nothing. You are somebody. Man or female, you guys can do this. I'm proud of you guys. I love that God's getting ready to work a miracle out in your life. And if you see me somewhere and your life has changed, come up to me, tell me. Say, "Hey Shadrach, you remember this day you spoke to me? Guess what? I now do this, I now have that. I've went here and I've done that." That would make my heart happy and rejoice. Guys, please do not give up on yourselves. I know it seems hard, I know it's dark right now, but there's a miracle with your name on it. Thank you.